All right. Hey, what's up, Josh? Yo, it's finally good to get connected with someone who's in also the male dating or Asian male dating space, would you say? What would you consider yourself as?
Yeah, I think I don't really like to be called like a dating coach or like associate in the space, but
Yeah.
I feel like with self-improvement, dating is like the most popular aspect of it for most guys. So we can just say like Asian male self-improvement space.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say I'm in like the dating coach space either. It's just more like analyzing trends, like why modern dating
hmm
is failing so much, right? That's why
Mm,
I guess like we had the name like Controvert because we wanted to look at like controversial issues in terms of like dating, in terms of growth motivation, in terms of like everything. And then we also have like crazy stories, which is just like more funny stuff. But yo, like
hmm
we've
hmm
been sending a lot of voice messages and finally we get to like finally talk to one another, man. Like it's fucking crazy. So I just wanted to share some of the good stuff that
hmm
you had planned in like the next week or so. I understand that you're going to Taiwan, right? So
hmm
I kind
hmm
of wanted to see what news you had to share. Like, what were your thoughts and all that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So this is my first solo travel trip ever, and to be honest, I actually wasn't planning on going for so long. But recently I was like seeing this girl and then we went on like 5 dates and then she basically like friend zoned me. And I'm a believer that the biggest motivator of like change or like a huge catalyst for change is like a traumatic event, in this case heartbreak. It sounds kind of silly, but I think to be honest, I was pretty crushed when that happened. So
Yeah.
literally that night, like where she sent me the text, I just like fucking pulled up like the plane ticket and then just booked like a 1.5 month travel because
Dude,
I've always wanted to like go to Taiwan as an adult since I used to visit as a kid because my mom's from Taiwan, but just never had a chance. And the funny thing is, if it worked out with that girl, I probably wouldn't have gone to Taiwan for like until like at least April, and I probably would have only went for 2 weeks, and it would have been like not as interesting. So,
oh,
um, yeah, that's pretty much like how that happened.
dude, it's kind of interesting because you strike me as, or you struck me as like a really alpha dude because you also do like retreats and that kind of stuff. You get retreats
hmm
from your content creation, right? And so
hmm
I
hmm
think those types of people who do like retreats or boot camps, it looks really, really fucking alpha. Like you have your shit on lock. But like,
hmm
would you say boot camps and retreats are a little bit different?
Yeah, so by boot camp, you're talking about like the PUA boot camps, right? Or
Yeah.
like the okay, yeah, yeah. So um, I think the retreat is different in the sense that like I structured mine to be more like networking heavy. So like I personally took like one of those like boot camp type of programs back in 2021, and it was kind of like a YOLO slash out of desperation type of moment, just because those things are like hella expensive. But because up until that point, I think I had worked on like my outer in terms of I was already like jacked, and then I feel like with guys I could like talk just fine. I did see like a beneficial aspect of that, and like a tangential benefit was that was like the first time where I started like connecting with like Asian guys. So like up until that point, before I did that like dating thing, I was like super whitewashed. So I felt like I couldn't relate to my like 6 foot plus white friends who like didn't struggle with dating at all. Like I would tell them like, dude, I can't like get girls, and then they thought I was like crazy. They're just like, oh yeah, you just like stand at the bar and then like these girls just approach you, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Wait, that's like a white guy's advice to you?
Yeah, like it's like like my best friend from like elementary school who I ended up hanging out with post college. He was like a 6'4" white guy. So like I couldn't really talk to him about dating because it's like a totally opposite experience, right?
Yeah. And then
Because I'm like a
you're not
shorter
six
guy.
four. Yeah.
I'm like 5'6", 5'7", like 5'6.5". So especially like in the US, that's definitely like shorter than the
Dude, that's
average, right?
I remember no, you mentioned that in voice message, but then like I keep thinking you're like at least 5'8", which it surprised me again just now. I'm like not even capping right now. It's like 5'6", 5'7", like is that 5'6.5" then?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like 5'7" in the morning, and then like you shrink. Dude, like shit you not, my ex like pulled out a tape measure once because she didn't believe me. But I
5'7" on a good day.
I just put 5'8" on Hinge though, to be honest, because like with shoes and everything, and I think because I'm like more built, I don't look like there's guys who are my height that look like freaking like manlets, like little like midgets. But then I think I look like normal because like my
Because you're
head's not that
built.
big and then I'm pretty built. So
Yeah.
proportionally, it doesn't like give off that super short vibe, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk a little
Um,
bit about like how come you even wanted to plan this trip to Taiwan? Is it like to get girls, or you think it's like because you had this one nightus, or you want to embrace more of your Asian Taiwanese background?
or let me just finish the retreat part.
Yeah.
Like just close out that point. Well,
Okay.
so basically when I did the dating thing, yeah, it was like good to get pushed to like talk to girls or whatever. But I think the biggest value add for my life was just it was like the first time I was like proud to be Asian. So I think that shifted my content because at the time I was making fitness content, and then I started shifting more towards like dating as an Asian guy because I think dating and then maybe like in college when you're trying to join fraternities, those are like the two aspects where you can actually face discrimination. It's like subtle, but I think it's there. So then I found that like once I started connecting with other like Asian guys, we could really relate on this experience. And then that was like the motivator for the retreats was to like try to unite like guys who are all into self-improvement and have good careers, cool dudes. And then maybe they're just in like a shitty city for dating or they were like me where they're whitewashed or whatever. So yeah, I hosted those retreats in terms of more like a community builder aspect versus just like a pure like coaching client relationship, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, that's basically like the difference. I wouldn't classify it as like a PUA boot camp, and
Yeah.
that was kind of the reason I shut it down was because I felt like the more retreats I ran like six in total in a year. The more the clients were becoming like more PUA focused as I ran out of leads, which makes sense because I'm like a smaller channel. So like eventually I just shut it down because it got too far from my mission, like the original purpose. And yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess we could talk about like the POA stuff in like a different time, but I guess I want to talk more about like your hype for Taiwan, dude. So what's good with Taiwan? Like, how come you're so hyped for this trip?
Yeah, like I think it's like for me, it's the first time I've traveled outside the country in like 8 years. So so there's that. And then I've also been taking like Chinese lessons for the past like 3 or 4 months.
Hmm.
So I feel like I've really been kind of like I know you make the you make the analogy like it's like the Elite Four, right? Like in Pokemon. Like I've been like working through the gyms, like I just finished the eighth gym and then now I'm ready. Like all my Pokemon are like full evolution. So now I just gotta like go through the tunnel to go to the Elite Four, right? Which is like the plane ride. So I
Yeah.
think it's like a really exciting kind of culmination of um, really like getting back into things. So I think like touching on the point you mentioned about how like you were surprised that I was like kind of a little simpy in the last, the thing with that one chick.
Yeah.
And I feel like my thought process is a lot of guys when they're single, they grind and work on themselves and then they get into relationships. And more often than not, they become complacent for one reason or the other. Like I know I became complacent. And then the longer you're in a relationship where you're like kind of stuck being complacent, the more like screwed you are when you become single again, which is kind of like my case because I was in a relationship for 3 years. So I think right now I'm kind of just like I don't want to say I'm back to square one because I have a lot of past knowledge and like experience, and I can kind of like super track like the self improvement process. But I'm still kind of like building back up in terms of like
Yeah.
I would say confidence.
We get
Some call
rusty
it game, but I think it's confidence.
when we're in a relationship. I feel like we just get rusty. I feel like we're just talking to this one
Hmm.
person all the time, that we've
Hmm.
become so dependent on this one girl or one guy, whatever, right? Our partner. And then we just don't know how to really interact with other people.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
why like when people break up, they're like, I don't know how to flirt anymore. I know a lot of even female friends. They're like, I don't even know how to flirt with guys anymore. I'm like, the fuck, you need a flirt? I thought just guys just come fucking flocking to you or some shit, right? I'm just like, what the hell? But yeah, dude. I mean,
I mean that's
we,
true, man. Because even for me, I felt like I kind of forgot how to flirt too in a sense because like you get so accustomed to like the one person you dated And
Yeah.
then you kind of forget that like every girl's different, right? So like the style of like flirting or in my case, my ex was like not romantic at all, so like no flirting. That you can't carry that into like, when you're going on like first dates and stuff because every girl's different. So then you kind of have to like learn just to like calibrate and like get back into things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think what helped me though was that like I was in an open relationship when I was in Taiwan.
Oh,
Um,
wait, you were?
yeah. Wait, I didn't tell you that?
No?
I swear. Okay, like that girl I was showing you, we were in an open relationship, and then I would kind of kiss
Wait,
other girls.
one way or two ways?
It was both ways. Yeah.
Okay,
She would
okay,
like
okay.
kiss other guys. She kissed another guy in front of me, and I kissed other girls in front of her. It was like that open.
Oh,
Yeah. So
wait.
I feel like okay, like in our voice messages, I know I talked a lot about like how these Taiwanese girls, they're really good, and compared to like American girls, they're so
Mm-hmm.
much more affectionate, caring, and loving.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like the whole American influence, I feel like they're slowly starting to get there. They're slowly starting to be a little bit more promiscuous. So you kind of asked me, right? You're like,
Mm.
"Oh yeah, like the first day, like what do you usually do? Like do you just bang them or what?" And I'm like, I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's really
Right,
highly
right, right.
likely possible. And then if you go to like other Asian countries, I'm not too familiar with Japan, but then from what a lot of my friends tell me, and even Malaysia, I went to Malaysia. You can't do any of that. But in Taiwan,
Mm-hmm.
it's so open, man. It's open, but
Okay,
at
so it's
the
not as
same time,
conservative.
yeah, yeah, they're getting to a point where they're not really conservative anymore. And then they're
Interesting.
also, but the good thing is they're still really loving. So you have kind of the best of both worlds. If
Okay,
they want to
okay.
be serious with you, they will be really serious.
If you don't mind me asking, like, why did you guys do like an open?
this girl, this girl fucking cheated on her boyfriend with me, and I was just like,
Oh shit.
shit, I don't know if I could trust this girl. And then at that
Mm.
time too,
Fair enough, fair enough.
I was also a really, really fucking big fuck boy in Taiwan.
Mm.
Like I would show up to this one club. It was called Core. I was like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people's like most favorite club is Core. You go into that
Mm-hmm.
club and then they can instantly tell you're an ABC. And then they'll be like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
shit." And then you'll get checked out, bro. Like I'm telling you. Like you're like kind of concerned. You're like, I don't know if like going there like the clubbing is good. Like I think your friend even said that too, right? Your friend
Yeah,
even
but I wouldn't count my friend because he's Viet, so like
yeah.
his Chinese isn't that good. Because my Taiwanese friend said that like clubbing's hella good there.
Oh. Yeah, I think it makes a whole world of a
Yeah.
difference if you know Chinese because that helps a
Right,
lot.
right, right,
At least know like Chinglish. Use a little bit of Chinglish.
right.
So
Chinglish.
yeah, I mean like going to like core, you get checked out like hardcore. Like all these girls are just looking at you. Dude, there's this at one time I had three girls that I was like at the same time concurrently. And I would just show up with one girl and I see a girl. She's like out in the corner. She's heading this way. She didn't see me yet, but I'm like holding hands
Mm-hmm.
with the girl I'm coming in. I'm like, oh shit, she's here too. I let go of her hand. And then I'm just, um, I go greet her like normal. Then we go into like a corner and we start kissing. I go to a different
Mm-hmm.
corner. I start kissing the girl I was with and I see another girl. And I was like, holy dude, that is how fuckboy I was. Okay, so why we were open relationship, this girl could also not
Mm-hmm.
trust me at the same time. So we couldn't trust each other.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And
Yeah, makes sense.
I think when you're in an environment like that where you guys can't trust each other, you guys both don't want to put so much trust into this and hope.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it constituted a open relationship. I think if you have a close relationship with someone you can't trust,
Mm-hmm.
you're constantly going to be wondering like, is this going to be working out? Is this person trustworthy or not? So I think the fact that we were open, I didn't have that hope and expectation, and that made the relationship so much better. And I would say that
Mm-hmm.
open relationship was one of the happiest moments of my life. It's just it's not sustainable, dude. You know what I mean? Like a girl who's promiscuous like that, um, and there's like also the issue of having kids. Like I want to have kids. So
Same here,
if
yeah.
she's not planning to have kids and she just wants to like just get double dipped by every other guy out there, I'm just like, nah, I can't. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it really reminds me of like the whole like because I used to when I was younger, like consumed like the red pill shit, and then
yeah.
like they have that whole thing where it's like something, it's just your turn or something. And then, like, whatever you just said like reminded me of like it's just your turn, but like she's not your girl, but it's just your turn or some shit. Like I
Oh,
don't know if you heard that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think she was my girl, but at the same time, um, we just didn't have the same end goal. I think that's why I ended up breaking it up with her
Yeah.
because she wasn't really keen on getting married and having kids, and she was already 32 during that time. I was like, if
And
we're
you
to
were
get
26?
no, this was 20 when I was 29 ish. This was
Oh,
just
this is
like
last
last
year?
yeah, this was just like last year ish. A little bit
Wait,
more than a
when were
last
you
year.
in Taiwan? What the heck? Was it like recently?
No, no, so I ended up leaving that relationship. Um, well, I left Taiwan, but we were still together. So we did long distance.
Oh, long distance. Open though,
And
right?
yeah, but then we started becoming closed. So when we became close, okay, so sorry I confused you. Okay. When we were open, we started to slowly develop trust and then we became closed.
Yeah.
Like we didn't establish we're closed. It just became to a point where it's like we both didn't even feel like doing anything with any other girls or guys anymore because that's how
That
much
makes
we trusted
that's
each
a
other.
natural progression. So the weird thing is like what I'm realizing with modern dating nowadays is there's like a step. So apparently there's like 5 steps, okay? So it's like strangers and then uh fuck, what's it? Or maybe
Situationship.
4 steps. It's like strangers and then like
Interest.
casually exclusive and then exclusive and then dating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like to me, like the way I've always dated is like maybe I'm just old fashioned, but like it's like if I'm dating a girl, and this is kind of why I got like fucked, or not, I didn't get fucked, but I got screwed up. Like I kind of screwed myself over, and that the heartbreak situation was I went on like 2 dates with this girl, and I could tell I liked her way better than the other girls I was seeing. Because I think the week I met her, I went on like 3 first dates, and I could tell like oh this girl's like way cooler than the others. So then I like stopped trying to really date other girls and just kind of focused on her, even though we weren't exclusive. So then, in turn, I really just like stripped myself away from the abundance mindset, right? Because like I think in the talking stages, as a guy, you really need like a few options to like not come off too needy. At least that's like my solution for the neediness thing. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and then when that happened, I really lost all my power because I like I think on the 5th date, I like told her too much information and I almost like what's it called? Like confessed my feelings, like not actually confessed it, but like the way I was talking was like, oh, you could tell I wanted to move things forward, but she was like clearly seeing other dudes still. Um, so there was like a mismatch of interest, and I think maybe had I like had that open relationship mindset or whatever, I would have like avoided that situation completely. Um, because I always thought it was just like you go on dates, you like vibe with someone, and then you kind of just like start dating them, right? It's kind of more the conservative like fobby mindset because that's how fobs date, from what I learned.
Dude,
So yeah,
I think you should already have a abundance mindset. Like can you flex a little? Show that shit off.
dude, I'm cutting, bro. I'm cutting.
Damn. How do you not have an abundance mindset from that? That's
Dude,
crazy.
honestly, I think I lost a lot of confidence from my relationship, to be honest. Like that 3 year, like really, it really screwed me inner
Yeah.
game wise, like especially towards the end. Um, but yeah, so I think for me, like like I'm really hyped for Taiwan because I feel like, and I talk about this in my video. I feel like the best way to like reset your confidence and inner game is to really push yourself outside your comfort zone and like travel to a different location because it's much easier to like reinvent yourself in a way. Like, I think if you're in like a place where you grew up, so I'm in Seattle right now,
Mm,
especially Seattle where everyone's like fucking neurotic and like hella filtered. It's very hard to like, step
so
outside your
true.
comfort zone and do like new things. That's like the whole reason I moved to Vegas in the first place a few years ago was
Yeah.
to create content. So yeah, I think like I got a taste of Seattle dating. It's slightly better than I remembered because I date Asian girls only now. And I used to only date white girls, but it's still not great. And yeah, just Taiwan will be like a good change of pace. And
Do,
then I have family there,
do
and
you think do you think
there's a
because
few
of
other
this
reasons. So yeah.
do you think because of this one nightus situation, like it really pushed you to take like a leap of faith and to extend your trip like that much? Because I know you're going like 5 weeks now, right? You
Mhm.
said before you would have only gone for a few days or something.
Yeah, dude. Before I would have gone for like maybe 2 weeks, and dude, I can even like envision it if I like, let's say I got with that one itis girl, it would have been like, oh, I try to FaceTime her, or like I'm not really like enjoying the present, and I'm just like, it's like it's a different type of travel. I think when you're
Yeah.
like traveling and you're single versus traveling and you're dating someone here. Because yeah, I think last time I went with my family, I had a girlfriend, or like I was in college or something. I think one thing to point out is because I was whitewashed till I was like 25, which was a few years ago. Every time I went back to Taiwan before, I'd never really found the girls attractive. Whereas like now when I'm dating, like I'm only attracted to Asian girls,
That's so,
and like
why
I feel like
though?
I find most Taiwanese girls attractive. So I
Why?
feel like it's a
What
complete shift.
what changed? Like in
Um,
your taste? Because I know you mentioned like you started picking up Chinese, and I think your Chinese is pretty damn good. Um,
Dude, you're roasting it on the voice messages, bro.
well, compared to mine, probably not as good, but yeah, no, I mean, I think your Chinese is pretty good because you know things like Sangto. I don't even know what Sangto was. I had to chat GPT that shit. Um,
Yeah, I mean
but
that's because I took like 3 months of Chinese lessons. So okay, so basically
yeah, so
like the
what
last
changed?
3 months, I've been using this platform called Preply,
Yeah.
and then I just found like these tutors that like I filtered by like how cute they were, and then like like obviously not too expensive, and then like at first it just started as normal like just like talking like a normal human being, and
Uh,
then I kind of realized that they like to hear. They would ask me like, "Oh, how'd your week go?" So then I'd start telling them about my dates, and then like they really liked it because I feel like one of them is low key a fuck girl, and the other one has like a lot of dating experience. So then they started kind of weighing in on like these stories because I'm also dating like fobs sometimes, right? And then they're telling me all these terms fuck boys like zanan, and
yeah,
then
Zana.
like a high level fuck boys like Wang, and then like I'm learning
Whoa,
all
I
these
didn't
like
even know
super
that.
niche
What the hell?
terms.
Hai Wang?
Yeah, so basically a Hai Wang is like a sea king, but it's basically like a really good fuckboy that's like there's a positive connotation. Whereas like fuckboy has a negative connotation from what I understand.
Sea
Zanan.
Sea King. Why? Because he makes her squirt everywhere.
Or because he has a lot of like fish or option. I don't know, man. I don't know
Oh,
who's making
okay.
this shit up, bro.
Okay.
You get that Western mind out of here, man.
Okay, but like, what do you think like changed like your taste? Because like, it's not just going to like Preply and taking like tutoring classes, right? I don't see that like changing your whole perspective of taste, right?
No, yeah. So like the Preply stuff started after I broke with my. Actually, I started taking those lessons like towards the tail end of the relationship, but like my taste really changed when I was in my past relationship. So I think there's three key reasons. So the first one was I met Kevin Tang from the Amped Asia podcast. So then I moved to live with him in Vegas, and his whole community and like the people I ended up meeting were all Asian. So I had a lot of exposure to like cool Asian guys as well as just like Asian creators in general. So it could just be like the mere exposure effect. Like if you're around people enough, like not the dudes,
Oh,
but like just like Asians in general.
yeah.
I started to really embrace my Asian side and like really like now I love being like Chinese Taiwanese. Whereas before I was like kind of like embarrassed of it.
Really?
So okay, so there's like
That's crazy.
yeah, so that was like yeah, I just no, I'm like I was
That's
so
great.
whitewashed, so it was like
I
a complete
can't see
180.
that because you look hella Asian washed to me now.
Well, yeah, I'm like hella Asian now, but before like if you met me 4 years ago, if you just go to my videos and click like oldest, like even during the first few videos, I felt like you can maybe hear it in my speech. I sounded like a little more insecure or like like a little more like filtered, I think,
Oh,
compared to now. But like that's pretty common for content creation. So that's like number one is I started kind of like kind of like loving myself in the identity sense, not to sound like kind of gay, but like
yeah.
it's like really embracing yourself, right? And then you start to really appreciate like Asian girls as well. That's a side effect. Number two was I got really into ping pong. So that's like the most Asian sport that exists. And I think in ping pong, like Chinese people are like really cool. So I also started using Chinese more because a lot of people can't speak English that well. So I think those two combined really put me from like a only hang out with white people, going to like white bars and like doing white shit to like only doing Asian shit, right? And then the third thing was I started watching like Asian shows, like Korean dramas and Chinese dramas. So if you think about it, my whole life went from being like very white centric
Yeah.
to 24/7, 365, like all Asian.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I think over time, I just like as I watch like more of these shows and stuff, I think my taste just like I don't know if it was a light bulb moment or like a gradual thing, but I remember when I was like dating my ex, I was like kind of like wanted to date like a full Asian, you know, because she was like half. She was like the most Asian girl I've ever dated, and she was like half Asian, half Taiwanese,
Half white? Is it the
half
other
white,
half?
yeah,
Okay.
half German, yeah.
Okay. So what I'm getting at is that like the biggest push is probably like meeting these guys, and then that's what really made you want to embrace your culture a little bit more, because as you hung out with more and more Asian men, and I think also your Asian girlfriend too, right? Your half Asian girlfriend.
hmm
So all
She
these
acted more
factors
Asian,
combined.
yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's quite a fucking journey. And now like
Y-
so,
Yeah.
you're so encouraged to learn Chinese and embrace your roots, and then like go to Taiwan and just like live it up, dude. I keep telling you, man, like you're gonna have a blast there, because I don't know how to describe it, man. Because yeah, I said the girls over there are more feminine and caring and loving. But it's just you just have to experience it, because like once you go on a couple dates, you'll just see it in real time.
hmm
Like holy shit, because I recall you mentioned that you went on a date with a Latina girl, right? And then I think you guys spent like, let me see my notes, you spent $180.
Oh yeah, this was this
Dude.
past weekend. It was like it was the worst date I've ever been on in my life. Like I don't, dude, I've gone on
God.
like so many dates over my lifetime. Not like
Yeah.
not to brag. I'm just like just to like kind of get perspective. And this was like the worst somehow. Like she was like fat fish, and then like it was like the most. If you take like the entitlement to like attractiveness ratio,
Yeah.
it was like a infinite, dude. Like she was like infinite
Why'd
entitlement
you
and
pay
like
then?
and she was like hella beat. Dude, because that's like my inner like I wish I was more savage and like when I saw the like two shots
Yeah.
because we went to this bar, right, and then they didn't have mixed drinks, so I'm just like, oh, what kind of shot do you want? And she's like, oh, like 1942, and my dumbass didn't know like that was top shelf, right? Because I don't know like tequila, so then it ended up being like $100 for two shots,
Yeah.
and like I wish I had like the I wish I could just walk away, but I think that's kind of like my inner nice guy, like not just like not paying for that and be, oh, that's way too expensive, right? I just ended up paying.
But when you
Um,
saw her, like you already determined that you don't want to be with this girl like long term. Like like when people see someone as like a dating interest, like they could already tell if this person is going to be like long term or short term. Like within like probably like 5-10 minutes, I would say.
yeah, yeah, I can usually tell before I go on the date.
Yeah. It rarely
But
changes though. Like
I
it
agree, I
still could
agree,
change, but then rarely, right?
I agree. Yeah, like yeah, unless they look drastically different from their photos, it's usually like pretty accurate. Like when you meet them within the first, I think 5 minutes, you can usually tell like if you want to
Yeah.
like pursue seriously. But okay, so the reason I went on this date was because after the girl, like the one-itis girl, kind of like ended things with me.
Hmm.
I started cutting. I started cutting really hard for the first time in like 3 or 4 years because I used to be like a competitive bodybuilder. So last time I cut seriously was in 2021, which was like three years ago, I guess, or 4 years. So during that time, I hadn't gone on any dates. So I kind of wanted just to like go on this date to see like how things are being more shredded. Like it was kind of more just for like a testing purposes. Like I didn't really care that much about the girl. Like not to like sound objectifying, but like I just knew that this was not a girl I was gonna date, right? And I'm leaving to
And you still
Taiwan.
pay for her.
Um, but like I still wanted to like because I honestly think dating is like a skill set in a sense. Like the
Yeah.
more dates you go on, the better you become at selling yourself socially, interacting with different type of girls, whatever. So
You're just farming.
the thing I yeah,
Yeah.
what's up?
You're just farming. Farming
What's
aura
farming?
points. Skill
It's like
points.
League of Legends, dude. You're like in the corner, like the team is ganking, and then you're just in the corner farming the fucking minions. Like, uh, I haven't played that game in so long. But
Gotta
like,
get my
yeah,
Infinity Edge, man. God damn. Shit.
what's that from Avengers?
Huh?
Or
Infinity
what's that
Edge?
reference from?
Nah, Infinity
Yeah.
Edge is a League of Legends item, bro.
Oh, dude, I haven't played in like a decade.
Oh my god, that's crazy, man. Yeah, that's like the one
So,
of the
so
most common items.
yeah. So basically, like this date, this is actually a really good example. So like, I think if I had more, what you call it? I don't want to like the opposite of nice guyness. If I was like more assertive, I would have just stood up for myself in that instance with a $100 bill and just been like, oh, fuck that, I'm not paying.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that, right? So I think like I think secretly what I'm hoping for on this Taiwan trip is I can develop enough confidence in myself where like if that type of situation arises, I can just stand up for myself and like be less like people pleasing. Because I think like for whatever reason, my default nature is to be like that kind of people pleaser.
Yeah.
And in a sense, YouTube has actually been a tool for me from a self-improvement perspective because for me to put out like controversial content, it's very uncomfortable. But like you kind of just get desensitized, right? Because like as you know, you get a lot of haters when you go more controversial. And
Yeah.
for someone that's like a natural people pleaser, that's very uncomfortable. But yeah, I think that's like what I'm hoping is one of the like, you know, like once I beat the Elite Four, right? One of the perks.
No, it's going from the Kanto region to the Johto region. That's why I
Oh
said
yeah, I'm just trying to go to the Johto region.
you're gonna take a crazy ass adventure. But no, I mean
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think with this trip, and I'll just share some of my experience, right? Because I
Hmm.
was on that same boat, believe it or not, because all these people would be like, "Oh, Panda, like he's insecure. What the fuck? No way." Like whenever I
Hmm.
say like I was insecure for a period of time, like they would not believe it. Like especially after a
Hmm.
breakup. Um,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
feel the same way as how you're feeling, because like everything that you're describing, like the one nightis, from like a short term girl that you just went on 1 day or 2 dates with, and then you kind of a little bit instantly fell in love in a sense, and then also
yeah. Hmm.
coupled with the breakup, it kind of
Hmm.
makes me understand because like I've been in that same position. But then when you go to Taiwan, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. I want to hear like a follow up. I want to see like the progress afterwards. But
Hmm. Hmm.
so let's definitely try to follow up like after you come back. But yeah,
We can
dude,
do
like
a
I think
podcast when I'm there.
nah, not when you're there, man. I would want you to enjoy it. Like, but yeah, dude, like I feel like when you go there, the options over there are just so much better, and then there's a lot more options over there because there's like a saying, right? It's like Taipei Hen Xiao. Like, dude,
Mm.
everyone in Taipei just they all kind of know each other, and
Hmm.
it's so dense, it's so densely populated, but at the same time, you're getting so many matches. Um, and so like my experience, like when I went there and I came back, I was just like, dang, I come across like a girl that's not really worth my time. And I just like think back to that time when I was in Taiwan with this other girl who, dude, this one girl, she treated me out to Tsuyu. I sent you Tsuyu. It's like this omakase place.
Hmm.
She
Oh,
treated me
okay,
out
okay,
to
yeah.
Tsuyu, and I was just like, holy shit. It was one of the best sushi I had in my life. And this was just one of many examples. Like it's not
Hmm.
just like
Hmm.
the financial perspective, but also when you're not feeling good or whatever, she's like, oh, like 你要不要我去 oh, shit, I'll just use English. She'll be like, oh, do you want me to like
You can just speak Chinese. I can translate it.
no, I would have to put subtitles on the screen then.
Okay, okay, fine,
Yeah.
fine. I speak English.
Yeah, so then she'd be like, "Oh yeah, do you want me to like bring you anything?" She's like, "Oh,
Hmm.
like I know you felt like bad today, but like blah blah." Blah. She would send me like a good night text. And I feel like yeah, American girls do that, but
Hmm.
it's dwindling, man. It's diminished way more than compared to like 10 years ago. I feel like a lot of those girls were easier to find, but then now it's like I kind of have to, not really kind of have to, but then like
Hmm.
have a higher chance of finding those girls over there. So yeah, dude, like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I think you're definitely going to enjoy all those options, and it's gonna help you, man. Because then you'll come back here and then you'll be like, oh shit, like now I've been enlightened.
Well, like, wait, if like Taipei is like a really small city, how did you get away with being like such a fuckboy?
Um, well,
Does a reputation travel? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that question I'm asking, right?
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because I've kind of gotten lucky because a lot of the girls
Hmm.
they find out after. Like, I'll give you an example. Probably a year later, they meet
Yeah,
another girl that also had sex with me, and then she's like, "Oh,
yeah.
hey, JJ." And I'm like, "What the? Why are you calling her JJ?" And she's like, "Oh, because we both, you." And I was like, "Oh shit, man. Why?" They're like calling each other JJ, maybe. I'm like, "Yo, chill out, bro. That's so, dude. That's weird." And then they become like really good friends because of that. I'm like, "What the fuck?" But luckily, it was always after, so I never really got the short end of
Okay.
the stick. Um, I
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do think there were some times where some girls already knew my rep, but then either they still gave me a shot because they were just really horny, or they just like straight up rejected me. So it's really hit or miss. And then in Taiwan, like how I mentioned, like they're getting a little
Yeah, I
bit
think you
influenced
lagged,
by
bro.
American ideals. They're really down to actually just hook up. Um, like a higher majority compared to a lot of other East Asian countries.
Yeah, yeah. I can see. It's more like U.S. culture in that sense, from what you're describing.
Yeah, it's
It, yeah.
a little bit, but at the same time, they're very feminine over there. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
feminism is spreading over there, but at the same time, they're still very, very feminine.
yeah, yeah. I can see that. So I think for me, like, to be honest, I actually like exclusively mainly date Chinese speaking girls, and I like Taiwanese girls better than Chinese girls, just because I even though I'm half Chinese, half Taiwanese, like I feel more in tune with my Taiwanese side. Like I'm more proud of that side because I don't know if it's like yeah, I could, there's like a variety of reasons.
Dude, dude,
But if I were to live in
some
one,
people would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? That's the same thing."
yeah, yeah,
Can
yeah,
you
yeah. I
elaborate?
know. But like the way I see it is like in Taiwan, I think like if I'm in Seattle and I want to date Taiwanese girls, the population of Taiwanese girls, like numbers wise, is so it's like so small, right? But then even though Taiwan is like a way smaller place, it's like majority Taiwanese, right? So just from numbers standpoint, it's like a lot better in that regard. And I've already moved a few of my like dating apps over, and like the girls just seem way more easy to communicate with. And I'm sure there's a bit of an arbitrage because I'm like a U.S. guy, and then I'm not a like, I hate the fucking word passport, bro. But like I feel like being like a ABC, like especially ABC instead of just like a random Asian American, you just get such a it's like such an arbitrage because you can speak Chinese and like uh the girls there can be comfortable enough to like open up, but at
Yeah.
the same time you bring a unique perspective that they can't get from like a native Taiwanese guy. And I've actually noticed this effect dating FOBs in the US as well. So um I think that's another reason I'm like looking forward to it is because it's just like such a arbitrage kind of.
Well, I feel like I wouldn't classify you as a passport bro. I think a passport bro is more so someone who primarily goes to a different country for that girl. Maybe yeah, 20% is for food, but then if 80% is just to find a wife, that's a passport bro. I think
Yeah,
what
okay, that's
happened
true.
with your case is more so um it's like a totally completely change of lifestyle, and you're just like, yeah, fuck it.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna have my reset and then
Hmm.
come back as a stronger guy. And then also you're starting work in like what, like July or so, June.
Yeah, yeah, like June.
So
And I'm also going for ping pong because I create ping pong YouTube videos.
yeah,
So there's like a double, it's like I can get content there for like ping pong content, and then dating's better supposedly. Like, well, I mean, I think it is better, like just from what you're describing, and then I can like see my
hopefully.
grandparents and stuff.
Hopefully, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already.
I don't want to amp it up too much, and then you go over there and you have so much stress, and you're like, "Damn, Panda had all this success. Where's mine?" I don't want to give you that pressure. You know what I mean?
No, 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 no. It's all good. Like I've already like set up a few. Like I'm trying to set up a few dates for like the week I land. So it's like
Yeah.
even if like if I don't if I have bad dating experiences, I'm not gonna be like, oh fuck you, Panda. Like I'm not gonna be. That'd be like really weird if I did that, right? You'd be like,
No,
what the
no. I
fuck's
mean,
wrong with this guy?
I don't want you to be like depressed at yourself, like mad at yourself, and be like, "Damn, I didn't get anything." You know what I mean?
Nah,
But
I don't view it like that, man. Like to be honest, so even the fat Mexican date, that was the worst date of my life, right? Actually, even though it was like a huge waste of money and like probably waste of like that 6 hours or however long I was, or 4 hours,
damn.
I did take away something which was perspective. Like I didn't know there could be such a delusional, like I didn't know how delusional girls get. And like it was really humbling to see like this girl's entitlement for like what she was, right?
Yeah.
So like it made me appreciate like normal girls more. So like even though it was like a huge waste, it was like I try to look at the bright side of things. And then for me there's like a skill issue which is like filtering, right? I did a terrible job filtering on the app. I shouldn't go. Like there were signs she was like thick and I just avoided them. So that's on me as well, right? For you, I think you have like very good potential because even this conversation it flows really smoothly, right? Like
Yeah.
I kind of want to do a live stream on my channel after this, like if you're down, but like right after,
Not right
like a
after.
marathon,
It's a
just a
hectic
quick
ass
one.
week for me. Let's do it when you're back from Taiwan, dude. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
dude,
But yeah,
Taiwan.
I just
I
think like
wanted I want to ask about
yeah.
Taiwan though, man. Cause I forgot to ask this. Your experience talking to like the girls, like you said, it's pretty good so far, right? Um, so like, do you guys use Chinglish or like English or Chinese? You use like a mix of both or what?
Okay, this is actually an interesting topic. So I think like I was talking to my tutor today because
Yeah.
I was actually reviewing some Bumble, some Bumble audio messages with her just to get her take. This is like a Chinese tutor, but like she was telling me I should use more English because to these girls, like the English component is gonna be like way more novel. Because in my mind, I was thinking I should use more Chinese so they
Yeah.
can feel more at home. Uh, so I've been doing Chinglish mainly, but like I've been trying to work in some audio messages, and like I literally like sent one to this girl. Granted, she's like a little older, like 32, but like she responded like, "Oh, you're so cute. Like, well,
Straight up?
well, I'll buy you some euro meal, or I'll buy you some real fan or something," because I had that in my description. And then
Dude.
like this other girl like I was like, "Oh, can you teach me ping pong?" Like I said that in Chinese, and she's like she's like, "Oh, my coaching fee's one bubble tea or something," and I'm just like, dude, how is like this is like so different than like in the U.S. where like girls are like so flaky, right? Like I feel
Yeah.
like these girls are like taking initiative to set the dates up, whereas
Oh
in the
yeah.
U.S. it's like so like just that alone, it gives me a lot of like hope or not hope, but like I'm like pretty excited because it's like oh yeah, it's just like so much nicer. Like these girls are so nice so
You know,
far.
I actually have a controversial take on that. I feel like yes and no. I feel like women in Taiwan, when they say they'll be there, they'll be there. Like you don't really need to like have too much of a follow up. Um, like she'll be there at that time, even if you guys talked about like a week before. But then at the same
Okay.
time, they're so busy because they kind of get overworked
Oh,
there. So this is something that you probably need to like be careful about. Like this is something I forgot to like mention in the voice message, but it's gonna be a little bit tough and difficult, kind of a challenge to set up some dates because some of these girls would be like, oh, I'm like tired from work or like oh like 我需要加班.
oh,
Like they have to do free overtime a lot, and I say this
oh,
because I lived there for 2 years and I worked there under a Taiwanese
right,
company, and
right.
dude, like I would see a lot of my coworkers like just working overtime like for free. They're not getting paid extra. They just do it for free, and most of them
I
do it
heard the
like
working culture
every
there is
day.
bad. Yeah.
They do it every day over there. I'm just like, what the fuck, you know? I was like
Yeah.
the only American engineer over there, so
Hmm.
my boss he didn't give a shit. He was just like he just yeah he didn't even mention anything. I would
Hmm.
come in late. I will leave early. And they're like, what the hell? This American can do this shit? It's like a
Yeah.
ABC. I'm like, yeah, dude, you guys are losers. You guys not getting paid for this. But like, even when I try to convince them to not do that, they still want to do that. Like, I think they're so incepted with the idea, like, they
Mm.
have to work
Collectivism.
overtime. So that's something you have
Right,
to be
right, right, right.
careful of because um, if like so going back to what I said, like if a girl says she'll be there, she'll be there. But then at the same time, she could cancel last minute or like the day of. Like it's pretty frequent that happens.
Okay,
Um
okay. No, I've already noticed that because I would say like one of the girls I'm most interested in, I've been talking to for like a week now. Yeah, like a week and a half or so. I was like I asked her like, oh, you want to like grab dinner or something because I'm getting there next week. And she even said she like is really busy. Like she's like, oh, I work a lot. So that
dude,
kind of like
yeah, I know.
she's a nurse, like an ER nurse or something. So it's like,
Bro, and
um,
you know, ER nurses get paid
yeah.
shit there. Like, I mean, maybe not ER nurse, but nurses in general get paid shit there. And
I think
bro,
Taiwan's wages are just so low.
dude, like, there's this girl I was dating. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a nurse. I get paid a lot." And I was like, "Oh really? How much do you get paid?" And she's like, "35K a month." That's Taiwanese dollars.
It's 1,000 a month, right?
That's about 1,000 a month. Like even my wage when I was working over
Yeah.
there was like more than triple. And I was like, "What the? This is
And that's
crazy."
still like that's peanuts for US. Like your wage in Taiwan was peanuts compared to like what you make here, right? So
Yeah,
um
exactly.
yeah, so I don't think I could the problem is I don't think I can move there like permanently unless I found a job that's a US salary because like yeah, my job is just like how much I'm gonna make is like way too high to like compare to like any job there, right? So it doesn't make sense. But kind of touching upon a point you mentioned earlier is like so two of my friends they actually came to my retreat, but the weird thing is like they both are really good with girls, so it's like
Mhm.
they kind of came more for the like making friends aspect. They actually met at my retreat, then they took a Thailand trip or Vietnam, the Southeast Asia trip, and they were like in Vietnam and I think Philippines, like Southeast Asian countries, and like they experienced like so much abundance. Bear in mind, these guys are already like top 1% probably online dating profiles in like US.
US. Oh wow.
That like and they have options out the ass, and like they come back and like my one friend who he's like in tech in the Bay Area, he's just like, oh yeah, like I just feel so much more at peace knowing that like if all else fails, I can just go to like Asia. But the ironic thing is he already has like so many options in the Bay Area, and this motherfucker is always complaining that the Bay sucks, even though he has so many options.
I
But
don't know,
like yeah,
man.
so
I had a lot of options in Cali as well, but then when I went to Taiwan, I was like, oh my god, there's a whole nother candy shop. I'm just like, damn. But at the same time, it can't work because I'm not gonna be there permanently. So I come back here, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was already exposed to all of that in Taiwan, like all that good stuff, and I'm like, holy shit. I will say
Wait, how
this
did
though,
you? Yeah.
there's probably 1 in 20 girls, well, maybe like 1 in 15 girls that I come across in Taiwan that are just very strange on dates. Not very strange, but um, kind of like that Mexican, that Latino fatty that you went out with,
That's kind of normal though. Like I think
the
like
delusional.
if you take the percentage of weird people in general, right? Like it adds up.
I don't know, but not like weird. It was just more like delusional and negative. Not really fit for
Yeah.
dating for men.
I mean, you realize that I think the more delusional ones are the ones that date more. So I have a theory that if you want to find a long-term relationship girl, you want to try to filter for ones that like are in between relationships. So they're normally relationship type of girls, or they like just haven't really had a boyfriend before. Or sorry, yeah. So like basically they either have in both cases they have very little dating experience. Because the more a girl dates and stays single, the more jaded she becomes. And like time and time again, every time
Yeah,
I'm gone on a date with a girl that's like serial single dater,
yeah.
it's like always like a weird vibe.
That same thing applies in Taiwan. I dated a girl that
Yeah.
was, dude, she had a body count of like 50. I was like, dude, that, and then she kept
How
changing
old
it.
how old is she? How old is
She's
she?
like 31. She's like a year older than me. And
Okay.
then I was like,
Okay.
what
Okay.
the hell? I was like, holy shit. But I rarely come across like someone like this dirty. And she was strange. She would just like talk about like, oh, like here's a picture, here's a video of me and my ex-boyfriend. We were so happy back then. I really missed those times. And I'm like, bitch, is this shit suitable? Be sending me out of nowhere? This is weird, man. I was like, what do I say to this? This is like speechless.
Yeah, yeah, that's all weird. What the fuck? I was gonna ask you actually, like,
Yeah.
because you ended up you're in like a situationship now, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're most likely gonna get
Or
together.
relationship.
Yeah. We're most
So,
likely
did you
getting
guys
together.
meet online or was it already you knew each other beforehand?
It was through Hinge. Yeah, it was
Okay.
online. Yeah.
So did you find that like, because you just like made the point like, oh, going to Taiwan was like crazy, like, but then you come back here and you gotta adjust your expectations. So like, what one fear I have of like traveling for dating is how do you adjust back to reality?
You're fucked.
But I mean, you got a girlfriend, right? So like clearly it's not too
Um,
bad, right?